This is a blind Transformers movie ranking from two friends that go way back. We got
Second
a
grade.
second grade, sir, and this is cool. You mentioned to me that, hey, I want to go ahead. I want to talk about Transformers. I love Transformers.
And
Hey,
I don't know, I forget which one I was watching, but I was watching one of them and I was like, I can rank these motherfucking movies. I'm gonna cuss, by the way, so
dude,
um, I can
let's
rank the
do it.
shit out of these movies. You know what I mean? I was like, who else do I know that would be all on board with ranking movies? I was like, Brandon motherfucking Wenzel would be on that. So, and you said, you quote, direct quote, I've been looking for an excuse to talk about these movies. So,
Yeah, it was a perfect storm. So in July, my girlfriend's sister got me tickets. Rachel and I, my girlfriend, and she got us tickets to go to this local convention, and I got to meet Optimus Prime, Peter Cullen.
oh, for real? That's
Dude,
awesome.
and let me just say that was like such a surreal experience because Optimus Prime is like easily on the Mount Rushmore of like hero characters for me. Like
That's cool.
he is an awesome character. Meeting him was so cool. He's a very
They do
sweet
the
man.
quotes.
He didn't do any quotes, but I told him, I was like, "Thanks for being the voice of my childhood," and he looked at me. He's like, "It was pretty good, wasn't it?" And I was like, "Yeah, yeah, it was."
I mean, I don't want to talk about too much about it, but
Of course.
I can, and I think, I mean, did you watch the animated series a lot? Because the animated series is older. I feel like that's the generation, or like,
It was definitely before our time, easily,
because
right?
my first, I brought that up because my first, like most of my generation is like, I saw the first movie with my mom when,
Oh,
like,
so like 80. Are we talking like the 80s?
no,
Film?
the first Michael Bay one.
Oh, okay.
I saw Nancy took me to see the first one, and I remember going in thinking like this is gonna be silly, but like, and it just permanently altered my brain DNA, and it
Yeah.
just tattooed on my prefrontal cortex, and I was like, what was that? Like, that was amazing. Like, I had to pick up my brain matter off the floor. You know what I mean? So integral part of my childhood as well. So yeah, I don't know, and it just even the ones that are terrible, which and I had this horrible realization going through them. I feel like more of them are bad than good.
Yeah.
Even though they're
Unfortunately.
bad, you still love them. Like
Yeah.
they're still so much fun, even the ones that are atrocious. And I'm gonna rip a couple of them apart. One in
Go
particular,
ahead.
and I think you have a good idea of which one it's gonna be. I'm gonna rip. It's the one I watched most recently. And I
Okay.
have a few on here in my little rankings here. One in particular that I have a soft spot for that I know I am in a very small minority.
Okay.
Excited to share my thoughts on that because I
Yeah.
thought about it, I thought it through. I had an original ranking before I watched them, and then I watched them, and I was like, I was wrong about a couple of these. I need to shift my ranking. So,
Spot on. Me too. When I initially said I think I just need to watch like Dark of the Moon, The Last Night, and Bumblebee, and then I started talking to you about them, and you're like, maybe you should rewatch a couple more. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna rewatch them all, and yeah, I had a certain idea, but I'm very happy I rewatched these.
go
All right,
get into it. Go.
so we're starting out. We're doing a blind ranking. We're starting at the worst.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that actually is going to be on my phone. The Transformers movie ranking number 7 is
Yes.
Transformers: The Last Night. This movie, uh, I
Me and my
so
wife are both stunned right now because Megan loves that one too. She literally just went like,
so
so go ahead, go off, King, go
all
off.
right, so Transformers: The Last Night. I just have the ID BD like description here. A deadly threat from Earth's history reappears, and a hunt from a local artifact occurs between Autobots and Decepticons, while Optimus Prime encounters his creator in space.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I thought this movie is
Impressive.
painfully dull. it.
All right.
I remember sitting in the theater, and to not to spoil the rest of the list, but after a certain Transformer film, I feel like my IQ just drops
Yeah.
immensely, and it's just all over the place. But Transformers: The Last Night does have some cool ideas, but I think there's some things that ultimately were pretty disappointing for me.
Yeah.
I thought Hot Rod was kind of weird with
Hot Rod. Hot Rod.
he's a hot load.
Hot Rod.
Um, I feel like this whole movie just felt like an ADHD like fest where that dude, it's like I'm watching this film and it's like we got Megatron, and then now we're going ahead and we're looking at Mark Wahlberg, and there's like a third shot of Mark Wahlberg in like 3 seconds, and I'm like, what are we doing here?
And then Anthony Hopkins magically appears halfway through for
When
no
he
that. Yeah.
dies in that movie, there
They
is
get
four
heated.
there's like 4 shots of this man dying. He gets hit
Uh,
and it's like 1, 2, 3, the guy in the
You
left.
gotta build up the drama.
Dude, this guy was paid to do the really cool narration, and it's like, you die, goodbye. But I will say, I'll pull out some cool stuff. Dude, Nitro Zeus, come on.
Yeah.
Give me like this weird like Suicide Squad like recruitment scene.
That's my favorite part.
It is the best scene.
Undeniably kind of sort of super racist of a scene.
Oh yeah.
Which is on brand for Michael Bay, but it's admittedly it's probably my favorite part of them.
Dude,
I was going to talk about it when it comes up on my list, but you go ahead. I don't want to
scene where he's like, I want Mohawk.
I love that
They're like, yeah, we could do that.
Who was the one? Berserker, right?
Yeah, Berserker.
He's like, no, was it Berserker? What was his name?
It was.
Where they were like, absolutely not. We are not. I think it's Berserker.
Yeah,
I think that's his name. And he just showed this big motherfucker with a septum pierce. He's like, I'll eat your brains. And even Megatron's so great because he goes like, and last but not least, I think his name is Berserker. We got to fact check.
He had the dreads
and they all,
or whatever,
all in a row. They're like, absolutely not. Even Megatron doesn't even argue. Like even Megatron's like, all right, okay, shoot. Like,
fine.
I love that scene.
That scene is so good. I get a kick out of it. Nitro Zeus is like dancing. He's like, yeah, we're free, y'all. We're going out.
Free lads. He's got a chain. It's so racist. Mohawk's like, oh yeah, every single one you gonna die. Every single, I'm gonna kill you first. It's so bad, but it's great. It's the reason that one is for sure not last on mine. Like that scene alone is so good.
It bumps the movie fully. It bumps the movie fully because of that scene.
I have a lot of reasons why it's not. It's I'm gonna give you a little hint. It's not second to last either.
Oh wow. Okay.
I told you. All right. But
right.
You have any other notes?
Nemesis Prime is cool. The Medieval Times Dinner and Tournament with Stanley Tucci was really weird, especially since
in the beginning.
But dude, it's like Stanley Tucci was the guy from KSI and Dawn.
Yeah, he's like he plays Merlin the Wizard. He's like, I'll give up drink. I'll give up money. I'll give up drinking money. I'll give up drinking money. That's hilarious. Like that was awesome. And like the dragon comes in and fucks them all up. Are you sure it's last?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
I'm sure.
All right.
There's a lot of sexual tension between Mark Wahlberg and the female character.
Of course.
But I will say, I think what makes this movie really cool for me is I love the Megatron design. It's like peak.
That's one of my notes.
It's the best.
Coolest Megatron one.
It's the best.
It's easily his coolest look.
He gets the cool like tusks mask and
and the red stripe. Oh yeah, he looks
perfection.
Yeah, one of my notes.
Perfection.
And he's got like, the arm that turns into a cannon. I'm telling you, easily the coolest version of Megatron.
Hell yeah,
easily.
I agree.
And yet you have it last. I forget.
A Transformer design, and also the end of the world. And I feel like the Sam Witwicky family history kind of doesn't make sense.
No stuff, real force. It was a nice little like shout out. All right, I'm gonna respectfully say that I think you're respectfully wrong. Not only do I think Age of Extinction is last, I think it's last. Like here's Age of Extinction. 10 feet of garbage.
I was
And
prepared
then
for
there's the
this.
next best one. Age of Extinction is horrendous. I am shocked that you think that's better than the last night. You just said you're like last night sucks, then you just listed off like 7 things that were awesome about it.
It's like
And
one scene.
it's more than one scene. Age of Extinction, here's my notes. No heart, no soul. It's so painfully long. It like you become so ungodly aware of how long it's like as long as the Titanic. It has no
That
business.
last hour is painfully long. Yeah.
I remember watching it the second time through, and like there was a scene when he's trying to rescue Tessa on the ship, and you're thinking like you're close to the end, and then like you keep watching, and then you realize, oh, that scene on the ship where you thought we were close to the end, that was like almost an hour ago.
Yeah.
We're still not done. Like it felt. I have a few notes here.
Yeah.
It felt like there were just so many like like Michael Bay was just in the editing room, and they were just like, oh, we gotta keep that scene. Oh, like he had all these cool, or he thought cool
we gotta just keep
CGI
it.
shots. Like we can't cut that scene. Oh, we gotta keep that one. Like he just couldn't cut anything out of the film. Stanley Tucci's the only redeemable factor. I have a note here. You said the ADHD. I like that. It felt. I have 2 notes. It felt like if you asked AI to make a Transformers movie with Mark Wahlberg in it. The other note I have is like I presume you've seen the new Deadpool.
Yeah.
It felt like the level of like how disingenuous it was. It's like when Nice Pool is like, oh, I too break the fourth wall, and he looks at the camera, and goes, the proposal.
Yeah.
Like that's like if that scene could be a Transformers movie. Does that make sense? I know that doesn't make sense. I wrote this down when I was high, but like that's the vibe. It's like the best part I can say is like when Bumblebee crushes Stinger's helmet and he
Yeah.
goes like, I hate knockoffs. That movie is a cheap knockoff.
Okay.
It feels like such a cheap like Lockdown is dope. And I remember thinking in the first 45 minutes, I'm like, it's actually I'm like, why?
The
Because I
first
remember
45 is strong.
I think it's solid.
Yeah.
Lockdown is sick.
Yeah.
Lockdown is arguably better in some ways than Megatron. He has
Mhm.
more of like cool, calm, badass fuckery to him.
Yeah.
Like I thought Lockdown was sick, and then the special effects in the beginning were cool, especially when they show the Transformium. And then that's how I describe it. Like,
It's accurate.
then there are scenes that are inexplicably bad CGI, and I'm holding Michael Bay to Michael Bay standards when it comes to CGI. Say what you will about Michael Bay, he always whips his 10-foot long dick on the table when it comes to CGI. Like no one he's untouchable with special effects.
Yeah.
How is the fourth installment have worse CGI moments than its predecessors? Like there's a few scenes in the car. I can remember seeing where they're jumping out of the ship where it's so painfully obviously green screen. And
Yeah.
like for other directors, maybe let that go. But for Michael Bay, like Michael Bay doesn't do that. That's one of the strongest points of Michael Bay's game. Is like the special effects are going to blow you away.
Yeah.
And it's going to allow you to overlook the forced military propaganda and just the unnecessary amount of close-up shots of girls' asses. Like, although you're not going to complain about them all the time, but like just the cheap tricks that he does. Like one of the things he's always good at are the special effects. And there's just a couple times where like there were some moments where the special effects were cool, and there are other times where you could so clearly tell this was CGI. It really disappointed me, especially since it was the fourth movie, and I really hate how much money it made. And it made so much money because it followed up Dark of the Moon. And like, but Age of Extinction is, I think it killed The Last Night because Age of Extinction was so bad. Like, The Last Night had no chance to be successful. Even though I feel everything in me, The Last Night is not only a better movie, I think it's a way better movie.
Okay.
There's just
so,
the last note I had, the ending speech of Optimus is arguably his best ending speech. That is the one part that I thought was good. His ending speech was
okay.
thanks. That was dope.
So, all right, I have a couple things that I like about Age of Extinction, and when it gets to my ranking, you know, we'll talk about it a little bit more. But so, some of the other things I liked about Age of Extinction was after Dark of the Moon, this movie was acting as a pseudo reboot, like a refresh, like through the franchise.
I think it was a mistake.
The biggest problem with this movie, and this only happened to me within like a couple months ago, and I remember people complaining about it, but I never looked at it. Did you look at the Transformer designs? So like Optimus got this like new knight model, kind of, right? Like he looks like a knight. In almost all of mostly Optimus, but like mostly these Transformers, where are the tires, dude? they're not cars anymore.
Oh yeah.
They're like robots. And like Optimus looks sick in 4 in my opinion, but where is that vehicle essence to him? Like it's gone. I really liked the smaller team in Age of Extinction. I like how we had like a vast group from 1 through 3, and then they shed it down to like what 5 Autobots, 4 or 5.
They were more memorable characters. I wouldn't have been mad about, but everything about it just felt so soulless. It had no soul and no heart, and I thought Mark Wahlberg was atrocious in it. Quite frankly.
Mark Wahlberg, I could stomach more in this movie than I could The Last Night.
Yeah, I disagree. I thought he was way better in Last Night.
Really? The whole
I think he was good. I don't think he was good.
Yeah.
I'm not saying, but he was dreadful. Like the scene at the end when Optimus is like, "I endanger you all if I stay," and he literally goes like, "Will we ever see you again?" Like I was like, while he's holding the only good line from that I have right down when he says, "Hand me my alien gun." Like that's the only line I felt like he delivered with like a good Mark Wahlbergness to him. But everything else is like, I think it's horrendous.
Do you too love the blatant Budweiser ads throughout both of these films?
Right, that's right before that line.
Hey Terry, get me a beer. You know? And the thing's like flying in, or when he crashes in 4.
That's The Last Night.
Yeah. But in 4, like the thing crashes and cracks it open.
That's what Michael Bay is gonna do. That's just what Michael Bay is gonna do. You know.
So a big thing that I think is a huge problem of Age of Extinction, and I don't know if this is true, but I was doing some research in preparation for this, and apparently Michael Bay catered to China with how that whole last act was, because it took place over there, and apparently this is where this movie went nuclear at the box office, because I think if I'm not mistaken, in China, this movie took off, and I don't know if he was catering for that, like planning for that, but I liked KSI. I think it was kind of cool. Galvatron was neat that they did stuff like that.
There was potential here, but we didn't see it. And I've seen arguments with. Are we good on time, by the way? Because we're still on 7. I feel like we could go forever.
Let me.
You told me we had 40 minutes.
That's what it was telling me. Let me just double check on this. Sorry, everybody, but
I suppose we could always restart a new one. But
yeah.
Anyway, like I've seen arguments for it where it's like there's a good movie in here somewhere. I've seen quotes of that before, but it's not. That's not the reality, though.
Yeah.
You know, like sure, there's moments, there's pieces, there's elements here that you could turn this into a good movie through the power of editing, which he clearly thought he couldn't do. Someone clearly told Michael Bay that he wasn't allowed to edit at all because. It's
painfully long. The movie is painfully long.
Like I can remember watching thinking like we're still not done yet. And then the Dinobots are in it for like 5 minutes, Brandon.
See,
my wife and I watched it and she was just like, for real? Like
I feel like they were in it the same as The Last Night though. Like it wasn't really that long.
They were in it more in The Last Night.
Are you sure about that though?
I'm almost positive there is more. Yes. Almost she's nodding her head in the green. Yes, there's 100% more Dinobot action than Last Night. So it's just false advertising.
The movie was way too long. I remember I took my friend when it came out, and we looked at each other after it was over. It was like that was a long movie. And you know what? The Last Night, I rewatched it, and I think just memory will sit with me forever with these 2 Mark Wahlberg movies, where I'm just like, dude, after we got past a certain Transformers movie, I'm like, these movies just drop. Like they're moment pieces.
Yeah.
But I do enjoy a little bit of everything from all these movies. They are guilty pleasures.
Oh, yeah. No, but I sent you the video of me riding the high.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll take my balls off. It's still fun, even the ones that are terrible. It's still fun, but. We should go to 6.
Okay. So my 6th one was Revenge of the Fallen.
That is also my 6th one.
Nice. All right. I'm very happy that we landed on it because I got nervous for a moment because when I was on vacation And I was like, man, I don't know if I need to watch Revenge of the Fallen. And you're like, you gotta watch
You need to
Revenge.
rewatch it because your memory of it is when you were in seventh grade or
Yeah.
whenever it came out. You're like, that was awesome. And then you rewatch and you're like, I can tell they wrote this during a writer's strike because
Yeah.
there's the college frat party scene,
Yeah.
bro. When they go to
It's
the frat,
rough.
what is the what's his name? I forget the roommate. What's his name?
Oh
Yeah, not Sam.
God. I have the notes right here.
Leo.
Leo. Yes.
Leo,
Yes, yes.
Leo goes like, first frat party's a game changer, boys. And they go in. The one dude literally says to Shy, goes like, dude, we're hunting, bro. Like, like he says, we're hunting, like for women.
It's gross, man.
And they saw that they're like, that's good. Like we
the
can.
the
Oh,
entire
so bad, so bad.
the entire movie, and like I was joking a little bit with like how much sexual tension was in The Last Night. This movie is baked
Yeah,
to baked completely with just sex.
I can remember the opening scene. The opening scenes, like I remember that. I remember it's Megan Fox straddling the
Yeah.
motorcycle. I remember being in the movie theater. I think I might have been 12 or
Yeah,
13.
it was like what,
I
2009? Yeah,
I
exactly.
remember a girl saw me and laughed. Actually, I was like he made the movie for 13-year-old boys. You know,
Yeah.
but oh my god, like the scene where they're trying to get into Jordan or whatever. And they go like, "We're from New York," and they go like, "New York, oh, go Yankee!" Like it's so bad. It's just there's so many moments. You're like, "This is atrocious. This is the only thing that saves it is the gang is all back. Like
Yeah.
Shia, Megan Fox is I thought really bad in this
Yeah.
one. I thought she was good, relatively good in the first one. I thought she was really bad in
She
this one.
was painful in this movie.
I'm not saying
Um,
Shia was good, but like Shia being just Shia brings some sort of magic to it still.
Especially watching the first movie, you realize how twitchy Sam is. So you're like, in the second movie, you're like, oh, this guy's just kind of gone full nuts, like.
Oh yeah, it's
But
like scribbling shit.
like skids and mud flap.
Yeah.
Uh, I man, I got toys of them up in the attic. Like I know I have a skids and mud flap like toys, and going back and watching them, I'm like, oh no,
No, it's bad.
this
Bad.
is
It was
rough.
written in the middle, or they made it in the middle of a writer's strike, and it's very clear.
Yeah, the scene that killed me probably the most out of this entire film is when I guess after the frat party or whatever, Michaela shows up, and they're talking in the library after they get blown up, and they're like, can you just shut up? They're like, I'm not talking to you. Give me 5 or 3 seconds. And I'm like, dude, you are about to literally get like nuked by a robot. And they're like mumbling to each other, like, I'm not talking to you.
I thought the fact that they made the Fallen like African. I didn't
Yeah.
catch that when I was a
Yeah.
kid, and I was like, oh, he has like an African headpiece. That's weird.
I
That seems
don't.
unnecessary for no reason.
There's
There's a lot of unnecessariness here.
when you meet Jetfire too, and
That was
and the robot is like freaking humping Megan Fox's leg,
yeah.
and it's like, well, he's more faithful than you are, and I'm like, dude, we like,
Reese's faithful fam. Yeah.
and she's like okay with it. I'm like, can we please? I'm here to watch robots. Like, friggin' continue.
I agree. That was gross.
The scrotum part.
Yeah.
That
That wasn't even the worst part.
No.
It was just it's just dumb. It's just
and with how I watched all these movies, I'll do my watch order at the end, I guess. But I watched Bumblebee before this. So
okay.
to watch Bumblebee and then go to Revenge of the Fallen, you're like, man, I feel insulted for,
Yeah.
for what's in front of me.
Yeah. That's a good order, man.
It was rough, and I have in a note here. It's the benchmark to how to fumble a sequel after a really good first movie.
I agree.
Anything else you want to talk about?
No, we should have just enough time to squeak in 5 though.
Okay.
So you got a 5. I know we're gonna disagree on 5.
Well, so your 6 was that, okay? And then my 5 was Dawn of Extinction.
8. Okay.
Yeah.
Um, Beast is 5 for me.
Whoa.
Knew you weren't gonna like that. Yeah,
Whoa.
but we talked about Age of Extinction.
Yeah.
Do you have anything?
So really, do I just jump to tell you what Beasts was for me, or do we wait?
No, let's wait.
Okay.
Let's wait.
All right. So Rise of the Beasts, man. What didn't you like about it?
Here's what I wrote. It's fine. It's a clean movie. I know there's like precedence with the GI Joe crossover thing.
Yeah.
They did that. What is that like in the comics or something like that? Or
So right now they're actually doing a really sick series. This just started. It's Robert Kirkman who did The Walking Dead. He also
okay.
did Invincible as well. If you heard about that show, the
Yeah,
superhero,
yeah, yeah, I'm familiar. I haven't seen it.
he's doing a thing called the Energon universe right now, and it's his own story called Void Rivals, which is really cool. Transformers is involved, and GI Joe.
Yeah, and like I
Uh,
know that there's some
it's
sort
pretty
of
wild, but I gotta say, man, when I saw this movie in the theater, like he flips that card over, I was like, holy shit, I did not expect that
it just feels like more of like this like Avengers
universe.
Marvel crossover nonsense that I'm like I want nothing. I don't want anything of that to do with Transformers. I don't need a crossover, which I can understand how it can hypothetically be cool, but like it's already so much.
Hmm.
I feel like if you just add more elements, it's gonna almost certainly be a disaster because you remember the GI Joe movies being
Yeah,
super good.
yeah,
They
yeah.
were so bad. So I'm not saying it can't be good, but the thing about Beast, there's nothing wrong with it. The thing that, and I've seen other ranking videos, and I agree with this. And I'm gonna compare it to Bumblebee here without giving
Yeah.
away too much. Bumblebee. Beast, you can tell Michael Bay didn't direct it in the worst way. Bumblebee, you can tell Michael Bay didn't direct it in the best way.
Okay. Yeah.
Does that make sense? Like I feel like just Beast is just it's lacking this like the Michael Bayness to it, like the juice. It just doesn't have that flavor, and it's like it's okay. Like there's nothing wrong with it. The B spots are cool.
Hmm.
It's just sort of like.
Uh,
And Mirage is cool. I thought Mirage was dope. There's
he's
just a
awesome,
lot,
man.
and like the timeline's all fucking weird now. Is it a completely different timeline now? Like
So I think this is a sequel to Bumblebee, but it takes no place with the Michael Bay
yeah,
movies.
the Michael Bay
Yeah,
universe. It's
like this is
supposed to
a
be a
new
sequel to
universe.
Bumblebee.
Yeah,
Okay.
because
It,
it just in the first, if they are going off that, they messed up. They're doing like X-Men levels of messing up like
no.
timelines, where like Optimus and everybody are in Earth, but then they show up in the first Michael Bay movie. You know, like that's weird.
There's definitely no way it has any. So there's nothing inherently wrong with it, but
Yeah.
like I don't feel like there's anything inherently great about it either. I think that's my main
Okay.
beef.
I,
Just I expected more, and I was excited when I saw the trail of
yeah.
Optimus Primus or whatever. What right? That was his
Primal.
name, right? Optimus Primal.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, that looks fucking
Dude,
sick. I
it
want to see
is.
that. And I was like, eh, eh.
I,
It just ran out of gas for me really quickly. You know, that's not only that's on it. I didn't hate it. There was nothing. I had no desire to rewatch it.
mhm.
I would rather watch Age of Extinction again because at least I'm gonna laugh my ass off at Age of Extinction. There's nothing
Whoa.
entertaining. Then it's like it's just okay.
Whoa.
It's kind of just there. It's just
Damn.
okay. It's just
Oh,
okay.
but
And
you would
the
rather
villain
watch
is
a
very forgettable, in my opinion. It's a super. What's the villain's name right now? Go.
Scourge.
Oh, whatever. You're supposed to say I don't know. I'm supposed to be like exactly, but of course, you know. Scourge. You're right. That was his name. Scourge. Of course. How could I forget?
Duh. All right, so with like Rise of the Beasts. Rise of the Beasts, man. That was my introduction to Transformers. Like I got into Transformers because of that show in the 90s like growing up. Like Megatron was a freaking purple T-Rex and like watching Rise of the Beasts, I saw it with my mom and my girlfriend, and mom was like next to me. She's like, I never would have expected to see this, and it's like it's a chills moment. But to your exact explanation, you needed that oomph, you needed that excitement
And
because
I didn't have a nostalgicness to it like you did, to be
yeah,
fair. Like, no emotional connection to it. I was
but
just like, that looks cool.
even with the nostalgia, right? Like when I watched it, this was the second time I watched it since the theater. Going to watch it now, and I do have this movie up there for me in my ranking because I think as a movie it is enjoyable. I do like it. But
It's fun.
man, as a Beast Wars fan, like I had to drop that armor going into the second viewing because I knew my expectations. But going into that movie, I was like, dude, I'm gonna see Cheetor. I'm gonna see Rhinox. Rhinox doesn't speak a damn line in this dumb movie.
That's what you're saying.
And you know, Pete Davidson was great as Mirage. I love the G1 Optimus design. I just the Maximals, and it's a sequel to Bumblebee. It's fun. It's a from Michael Bay, the Michael Bay movies. Outside of Bumblebee, this is a nice 2 hour film. That's
No,
huge.
it's clean.
Yeah,
I have that. It's clean.
it's clean,
It's
and I
nothing
think that's
wrong
the.
with it.
But you know what kills this movie, and it's exactly what you were saying. That final fight in where the hell is that?
They're like
It's
in a field or something.
yeah, but it's the country, and it's killing me because
Oh,
Peru.
Peru.
Peru. Yeah. They're in Peru and dude, everything looks CGI brown. Like everything's CGI gray and brown. I get the line of like, you know, Maximals maximize, freaking cool. And you know, this may be the last Transformers movie we get. I don't want to say anything, but like with Peter Cullen, like I don't know how much more does this guy have in the tank to really want to do this.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's like, man, like this is how we go out. Like he's not doing Transformers 1, which comes out in a couple weeks.
Yeah.
So it's like, damn, man, like
I
you
think we'll
know,
get one more ride.
I hope we get one more. I hope we get one more.
We need the Baster one more time. Baster in a collaborative role. Like he needs someone to check him. I think that's his
Yeah.
problem. And with all of his movies except for like two,
Mhm.
it feels like, okay, you're doing good. You're doing good. You're
Yeah.
doing good. It's like he's trying to draw a crayon inside the line, and then he just goes like, like halfway through, he just goes off the rails.
He's kind of like Zack Snyder to me, where he gets like he loses it, and honestly, I feel this way too with Joss Whedon. Like I don't know if you saw that Justice League, the first like the theatrical one.
No, I know the Zack Snyder cut's supposed to be better, right?
Ooh,
But
it's rough.
I,
But
I,
anyway, yeah, I don't want to go down that rabbit hole. But bland color palette for the final battle. The Maximals barely are in the movie called Rise of the Beasts. I love the '90s and like hip hop
yeah,
aesthetic.
no, that was
It's really
cool.
fun.
That was cool. I agree. That was cool.
But man, it's yeah, it I like it, but it is definitely
That's
a
okay.
clean film. Yeah,
It's okay.
yeah.
It's, who you got it for?
So my fourth would be.
Are you thinking, hold on, before you say that, are you like conscious about like this man still hasn't said the last night yet?
I haven't even put that into perspective. Oh my god, I kind of just like washed it away.
Haven't said the last. Go ahead.
So
Go ahead.
so my four, it's very close with three.
Okay.
But there's a little bit of leverage just because I think three is a overall cleaner movie, and I think it does what it's trying to do well. But four is Dark of the Moon. Dude, this movie is sick.
I agree.
This movie, I watched this first out of this giant rewatch.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
Dark of the Moon was the movie that I'm like, now I know this movie is serious. Like
The opening scene was awesome.
yeah, this
I wanted so much more battling on Cybertron. The battle scene, I was like, give me an hour more of Cybertron battle scenes because that was so you're immediately in. That's my note for it. You're immediately in.
yeah,
You're instant.
and almost immediately you get the idea that Dark of the Moon is not Revenge of the Fallen in the best way. You're like, oh, this is the answer. to that shitty sequel.
He brought his sauce on that one for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah,
Uh,
incorrect. I feel like that's his thing. Like one's good, two's bad, three's great, four horrendous.
yeah.
Like you know,
And it's always like you never know what you're gonna get. But with three, it's everything I think the people wanted from two, but
I agree.
there is some flaws. So I think this movie lacks clearly without Michaela. So the new girlfriend is
Mm-hmm.
basically a proxy for that. Like she loves cars still. Like she's just
Well, didn't her and B have a falling out, right? Because like he
that's
takes a shot at her in the movie. Well, like there was a whole thing about him making her supposedly have
yeah
sex with him, right? Was
yeah. It it just felt like if Megan Fox was in this movie, not because she's Megan Fox or anything, but like to finish this trilogy
I
and
agree.
exactly where Sam is like personally. Sam's like, I need Carly, right? He's like, I need Carly. Carly's like the only person I ever worked this hard for. I was like, if that was Michaela, you would feel that like he needs to get this shit done because he like, for lack of a better term, he like fucked up a couple times already. So he's like, this is my life right now, and I get that. But with
I
Carly,
agree. I agree.
it,
It's the first that's the main problem with the Mark Wahlberg ones. It's like and I thought she did fine. I don't know her name, but I thought she did
yeah,
fine in it. But and like there's a scene in the beginning where like the little robot that you were mentioning that humped her in the
yeah,
second one. She was like, she was mean. I didn't like her. Like
yeah,
he like
exactly.
takes a shot at Megan Fox, which I was like, don't talk about my fucking girl like that, Michael Bay. Fuck you.
Yeah,
Uh,
and we know the backstage stuff with why she's not in the movie, unfortunately, and it
yeah,
does suck. She was a very important character for this film to
I
be in.
agree.
But some of the cool notes I have is that it was obviously the answer to Revenge of the Fallen. The Decepticons are overpowering, and you feel their presence in this movie.
I agree.
I think the plot twist with Sentinel Prime was really cool.
Dope.
Even watching it again when he's like, "I made a deal," pause with Megatron. You're like, "Oh shit!" And he goes after like Ratchet or whatever or Ironhide. You're like,
Yeah,
"Oh
he
shit!"
fucks up Ironhide. Yeah.
Yeah, and like overall, it's a dark and serious movie, but
I agree.
there's the one big flaw, and this is what Peter Cullen has said too with this movie, is that he created Optimus Prime off of his brother. Like he was inspired by his brother who was in the military, and it's the one line he never felt comfortable to ever say as Optimus, and it was, "I will kill them all."
Oh yeah.
So it feels weird, it does, but in the terms of the Decepticons in the Michael Bay movies, they are ruthless. Like
Yeah. No,
they
I
are
have.
going to kill and enslave the human race, whether you want to be like, no, they're going to do it. They're going to do all of it. So Optimus in this movie, I can kind of justify being like, dude, your back is against the wall. And he's already pissed after everything that has happened in the last two films. So I get
Yeah. No,
it.
I I don't want to give it away. I'm looking at my notes for Dark Moon right now. I don't have it at four.
Okay.
Um, a lot of what you said, I do agree with. One of my notes is I have with a frowny face, no Meggie. Um,
It's
so
probably the
I agree.
biggest problem. It probably like genuinely. I,
I actually agree. I actually agree. And I just shat on her performance in two, and I
yeah.
still agree with that. Yeah, it would have been
And
better.
like Tyrese Gibson coming back, I think
Yeah, it was awesome. Awesome.
Josh Dumel coming back. It was like, dude, you see them after two, and you're like, were they were in two, right? Or just
Yeah.
Josh? Yeah, yeah. But
I think
they felt like well deserved characters, like in this third movie. Like they're in it with you. You're like,
oh
okay,
yeah.
man. Like I love it.
Speaking of two, I realized I'm sorry to backtrack. I
Yeah.
did have one note I forgot to say about Revenge of the Fallen. Optimus's death.
Hmm.
So they're chasing them, and I don't know if you can edit this back to two, but they're
Yeah.
chasing them through, and then they're all of a sudden in the woods.
Oh, the forest
And
battle.
yeah, but all the other Autobots just fuck off, and they just let Optimus a 1v3 them.
Yeah. It's an
And
amazing
then
scene,
he
but
gets
yeah.
fucking shanks. He gets the Bob, and then they just and all the Autobots are just sitting outside the forest, like, oh shit, I guess we gotta leave. And they're like, what were y'all doing out there? Like all the Decepticons were in the woods. I remember watching that. I was like, wait a minute. Like, and I actually had to rewind. I was like, okay, they're all there. And then the next scene, it's just Optimus alone with all like he's just getting gang banged by all of them. I was like, what's going on? Like, I forgot to say that note. I was like, that was such like they just were sitting outside. Like, you think Optimus needs this? They're like, nah, he's got it. Like, made no sense. But anyway, I forgot to share that. 4 is last night. I finally
4 is last night for you. Okay.
last night's finally off the board, and I know that's the one where everyone's gonna be like,
Wow.
you should never make a list again. Here are my notes. It says the beginning of the notes. Hear me out. It's kind of good in a really bad way. And you said a lot of the things of what I like about it. Mark is much better in this one. He is not good, but he's much better in this one. Next note I have Megatron looks abso-fucking-lutely dope,
Yeah.
which you already said.
Incredible.
The next line I have the squad scene, the Suicide Squad scene, is racist, but admittedly hilarious and spectacular. Right?
Yeah.
The Dreadbot scene where he's like, armed robbery, double murder, triple murder, didn't even take the money. No. And then he just like, swings his sword. He's like, "Argh!" And they go like, if he wears a GPS tracker, that's what like that's come on. He just it felt watching this that MB kind of knew this was the last round.
Oh, absolutely.
It kind of felt like he just had no more fucks to give, and he's like, I'm gonna do what I want. But
Yeah.
there was I thought the beginning was really strong, and the beginning had almost a District 9 vibe to it because you have like these zoned off sections, like alien activity here, and
Yeah.
they're like picking the aliens off, the Transformers off one by one, and they have a whole squad now dedicated to just whacking Transformers. And Cade, Mark Wahlberg, is like an enemy of the state. I thought if he just stuck with that
Mm-hmm.
and he didn't just get such in a rush to just get to the end of the world part of the movie
Mm-hmm.
like he always feels like he has to do, this would have been higher. If he had stuck with that whole like political dystopian future thing, I
Yeah.
think this would have been a sexy ass movie. The whole like, oh, Megatron's just back thing was lazy. I know in 4 they set up where Galvatron's basically
Yeah.
Megatron, but basically it's just like, no, it's him. Oh, identity confirmed. It's Megatron. Like that's it. That's all you're gonna like. At least in 2, they show the Decepticons getting the shit they need to go into the water to then reactivate Megatron. This one, they're just like, oh yeah, he's back. Like it
Yeah.
was lazy.
And off screen, I guess he meets Quintessa because he has the red mark.
Yeah,
Yeah. So
yeah.
you're like,
And
oh, that's
they
how
don't show
Galvatron
that.
turns into Megatron.
Yeah.
I guess.
The scene of Optimus just floating in space is horrifically bad CGI. I will. Here's another couple good notes I have about it. The Anthony Hopkins part is not good. The timeline thing is weird. Although I admit it was cool. The scene where Bumblebee just comes out and just starts fucking up Nazis.
The Nazis, yeah, it's
That was
cool.
awesome, even though it doesn't really fit the timeline that he established in the original 3 at all. I feel like
Not at all.
But it was dope.
Do they even talk about Sam's great grandfather from with the eBay glasses?
Yeah, it just totally shits on that. So I didn't like that part. I love the night scenes were dope. The Merlin scene was dope. The scene where like all the knights put they let us gingerly touch our tips. They all put their tips together, and then all the fucking Autobots put their swords together. I thought that was dope. I just felt like it. I understand why he felt the need to do the whole British knights thing, but it felt woefully unnecessary.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it was good. I think the staff thing was ridiculous. Though I will say the whole like Armageddon thing to it felt the most realistic in terms of you really get the feeling of like this is Armageddon. This is the end of the world. Like they had the scientists showing like we're all gonna die. Like it felt like it had the most real sense.
It has
of, like,
stakes. Yeah.
We're gonna all die. Like I don't think the special effects were great in comparison to 1 and 3 or even 2, but it was certainly better than Age of Extinction. And I'm telling you, like this one is the one I have the most fun just super not sober too. Like
Oh
I
yeah.
pop a fat gummy and throw on the last night and try not to have an amazing Friday night. Like
Well,
it is.
maybe that warped your judgment.
No, it didn't. Because I watch all of them high, so I have a. And my wife agrees. My wife loves the last night. Barricade is cool in that he's got like
Dude,
the brass.
Barricade looks amazing in that movie. He
Yeah,
like one
so
of the best series designs, like right up there with
yeah,
Megatron.
and the designs are awesome. The opening scene where Bumblebee turns into a bunch of different pieces and comes back
Yeah,
together again, and his tire just fucking titty
decks
slaps
that guy.
the
Yeah,
soldier's face. That was awesome, and like I just thought the opening scene I thought was fantastic.
yeah.
Honestly,
And
really good.
Canopy was the girl's robot, right? The
Yeah, that
yeah.
made you immediately want to cry. You just met him and you already wanted to cry. Like I thought if he had stuck with that vibe
Hmm.
that he beautifully created, it would have been really good. He
Like a
just
Decepticon one world, basically.
yeah, just
Yeah.
like the District 9 vibe to it. Like, do you
It
get what
was
I'm saying with
no,
that? Yeah.
it's you're accurate
And
on
then
that.
he
It
loses it. And
yeah.
then he just ditches it. Like he did such a good job. And then he just, oh no, we gotta go to Unicron. It's dumb.
I think what kills this movie for me is after the District 9 stuff. And obviously, this is a whole side note, but you watch the trailers for all these movies, I don't know if there's a bad trailer. Like
Of course not. He kills the
they're all
trailer.
bangers. Especially this one. The last night's trailer, I was like, "Holy shit." Like we're 5 movies in, but goddamn, I'm going.
I'm gonna he's gonna get me again. No, it's a guilty pleasure of mine. And it's the of so far of all these ones I've listed, I don't think any of the ones I've listed are actually genuinely good. The Last Night I don't think is a good movie. Don't hear what I'm not saying. I'm
Mhm.
saying it's kind of great in a bad way, but it's like I feel like it has the most potential to jump into that. This can be a really good movie, and I guess I understand why people hate on it, but I really don't understand. I mean, you explained it. Most lists have it as the worst one, but I've watched it 3 times now, and for the life of me, I can understand why you have Beast ahead of it. I'm not mad about that. There is a personal thing to it, but I don't see how Revenge of the Fallen or Age of Extinction are better than it. In my opinion, I can't understand how either of those two movies are better.
I was
Other than
really
Shia LaBeouf angle,
uh,
I just don't see. Go ahead.
yeah, not to cut you off. I was really close when I was when I was watching Revenge of the Fallen, man. I was like,
Is this
God
last?
damn. I was like I know this is a horrible movie.
You had to
And
ask yourself, is this last?
yeah. And like the last night I'm
Yeah.
sitting there watching it too and I'm like there's just so much going on in this movie. Like the end of
Yeah.
the world. Optimus is trying to become Nemesis Prime and he's getting like, or Optimus does become Nemesis Prime because of Quintessa. The whole Cade is the last night thing. The whole
Same.
Wiccan family. I'm like, dude,
Lame.
what is going on here?
Lame. I agree. Lame. Cogman, weird.
Yeah, he's like comic relief, but you're like, man, I'm kind of disturbed just outright by what you are. Like,
No, I agree. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like second
yeah,
half. Yeah,
it's
I
like he
agree.
sneezed while he was like doing the storyboards. He's like, oh fuck.
Uh, yeah, I agree. I agree. But there's just elements of it that I'll always love. So that's why I
Yeah,
know I'm in a very small camp having it that high. Like I feel like having it anything, even putting it at 6 would have been like, okay, that's okay. But if you have Last Night anything higher than 6, I feel like you're borderline like banned from ever make like I'm afraid I'm just gonna be told never make a list again. But like I stand by it. There's so many moments here that they're guilty pleasures for me. And yeah, I love that you like literally the first 2 things you said were my first 2 notes. Megatron looks insane in this. If I ever get like a Megatron tattoo, it's gonna be from this
hell
one.
yeah.
Um, and the lineup scene is awesome. Racist,
Yeah,
but it's awesome.
I'm really happy we both agree on Megatron's design, and also
Yeah,
I'm so happy you mentioned Barricade because he one of my favorite Decepticon bots, and dude, he looks sick with the protect and enslave brass
yeah,
knuckles. Hell yeah.
yeah, yeah. Punish and enslave.
Or punish and enslave, yeah. It's
Yeah.
it's sick, man, and way better than the weird spiky variants that both of them had in the early Transformer movies.
What do you mean the spiky
Like
variant?
Barricade in Transformers One had the weird like spike hair or head, right? When he was seeing messing with Sam, like
He's
are
like,
you?
"Are you ladies man 1197?"
Yeah,
I
like
don't remember the
he looks
hair.
cool, but his like face is like really spiky. And I'm like, oh, it's cool, but that new design is
No,
sick.
yeah, the designs are some of the best. No, I agree.
All
What's
right.
your three?
So my three is Rise of the Beasts.
Okay.
Uh, I I I thoroughly enjoy this movie, and why it is above Dark of the Moon is because it is just an easier film. It's 2 hours, and I was like, okay. I saw this movie at like 9:30 or 10 a.m. on a Sunday morning, and it was really nice. Again, after all of the Michael Bay movies, to be like,
Yeah.
I'm in and out. You know, seeing this movie for a second time, no, the lack of Beast Wars really sucks, especially as somebody who like this is what that's what made me love Transformers. It's like, damn, like this is probably their only shot to ever see that, and they didn't really do too much with them. Air Razor out of everybody was in it the most, and I'm like, dude, she's a bird, like like right, like you got a robot
Dude, she's a
gorilla,
bird.
you got a robot gorilla, you got a robot rhinoceros, and they didn't have the cooler characters too, like Rat Trap, who's like a rat, or any of the Predacons, which was like Megatron, as a T Rex and
I
like
didn't know that.
yeah, they're sick. They're so cool. Dinobot was like actually a name of a character, and he was a Velociraptor, and he kind of played like the role of like Jetfire, where he was bad, but then he turns good. Missed opportunity not to see those characters, but Noah and his brother were great human characters. It was nice to finally be like, all right, Cade, the last night, get rid of that guy. Give me just some like kids
Yeah,
from New York, and they're struggling. And,
yeah,
and it
I
was nice
agree.
to see he calls his brother Sonic, his other brother's Tails. I was like, I get it. I love video games. I understand this cute relationship. And then the girl, the scientist or the museum person, she was pretty cool too. But a
I
lot
liked
of it felt like it, to what you were saying as well, like with the lack of Michael Bayness. I feel like Michael Bay probably saw the original G1 show, right? And he was like, dude, you remember Ironhide, Ratchet, these hallmark characters. And in this movie, I was like, why are we seeing characters like Stratosphere, this like plot device to get you to Peru? Like, they're not as fun. And I know I didn't mention it, at least when we talked about The Last Night and Age of Extinction, but like John Goodman as Hound was awesome. He was
Sound was good.
he was a great replacement for Ironhide and even
Oh,
Ratchet. And
yeah.
in this movie, we had Mirage, who I really liked. Bumblebee was a backseat kind of character in this movie. And I liked RC, but like RC also didn't have enough in this movie either. So it's a small team, even including the Maximals, but the Maximals just get no screen time to where we're dealing with
I know.
average of like what, four bots, like
Yeah.
properly. It's serviceable. The GI Joe twist was really cool. I popped like when I left the movie theater. I was like, "Whoa, that's freaking cool!" But
No, that's how they knew how to get you hooked.
initially this movie was
Could
a
be
lot
good.
lower for me.
It could be good. We'll see. I'm sure they're gonna do something with it.
Yeah,
But
but initially this movie was a lot lower for me, and I was like, I'm happy I rewatched it because just as a core movie, it gets the job done in 2 hours, and like Wheeljack's in it too, but he's like barely there. But like
yeah, probably.
it is what it is. But I liked the pacing. I like my time being valued these days.
I agree.
In 2017, sitting there watching the Last Night, and especially 2014 with the Age of Extinction, I was like, oh my god, man! It's like, Michael Bay, please. I love these
Yeah.
robots, but please.
No Age of Extinction.
All
All right.
right.
Any other ones?
No, fun movie.
Well,
It's gonna be interesting to see what they do from here. It was a good sequel, I guess, to Bumblebee, but outside of that, yeah, just pretty like you knocked it out of the park with your definition. It's a pretty safe movie. It's clean overall. It is what it is. It's just a good Transformers movie.
I feel like I'm gonna remember that one the least. I think that's mine.
Rise of the Beasts.
Even though I know it's by far not the worst film, but
Yeah,
it's just the least.
it's just very safe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have Dark of the Moon at 3, and it was
Okay.
almost 2.
Okay.
For a lot of things you said. I did say, first of all, there is no Dark Side of the Moon. That's simply not true. We rotate. So right away, ridiculous plot.
Yeah.
A ridiculous plot, but it's awesome.
Yeah.
Like with the JFK scene, it's like Neil Armstrong taking out the envelope that says top secret. Like, even though you know it's just ridiculous, you're like, oh, I'm in. Like, you're no, I said this to you. You are immediately in. You're immediately in. Told you one more battle scenes on Cybertron. Very Mikey B with the ass scene right away. I remember watching it because I hadn't seen it in a while, and I was watching it, and they used to immediately get a close up of her ass. You're like, man, fucking Mikey B is gonna show you that ass, baby. Like, if you can count on anything, Mikey B is gonna show you that ass.
Jesus.
It's a ridiculous storyline, but it has undeniably the Hollywood blockbuster element to it. You said a lot of good things. I love the scene with oh my god, I'm spacing on his name. Sector 7, motherfucker. What's his name?
Yeah, I know who you're talking about. I don't. Is that
What's the actor's name?
God, I was just talking about him the other day too.
Yeah, we need to find this out.
I don't even have him in my notes because I always get bothered by him. It's like Turturro, Joe Turturro, something like.
Yeah, John Turturro.
John Turturro, yeah.
John Turturro, I like him arguably probably the second most in this. He's the best in the first one.
Yeah.
I love the scene when they're like when Sentinel's about to do his thing and he goes like, we're gonna look back and he says, where were you when they took over the world? And we're just gonna say we just stood around and watched. Like, I thought that was a powerful scene.
Yeah.
I love that. The action, I think, is maybe the best of all of them. The action you feel immersed in the action. It's ungodly believable. I like Kim Jong or whatever the fuck his name is. When he like, what's it?
The who?
What? I'm gonna sound bad.
Is it
the
a
Asian
robot?
guy. No. Hold on. We can edit this. I probably should have had this written down. It was
Dark of the Moon. Oh yes, I know who you're
Kim
talking.
Jong, yeah.
Yeah.
Kim Jong, he like corners Sam in the fucking bathroom.
Yeah.
And then he whips out the pistolas. I was like, you wrestled with the wrong one today, and then he immediately gets killed. But I agree about the no Megan Fox element. The action's unreal. It never feels too long. I love the twist, like you said. Megatron does, as you said, Bumblebee takes a backseat, and Beast, I feel like Megatron takes a little bit of a backseat in this one, but it's kind of in a good way. Like, he's fucked up, right? He's all beat up. That's kind of really cool and believable, and adds a little element to it. And then the scene at the end, though, where like Megatron saves Optimus because Sentinel's about to fucking end Optimus. Megatron kills Sentinel because Carly gets in his head that like, well, if Sentinel wins, you're just going to be Sentinel's bitch. So then he kills Sentinel, saving Optimus, only for Optimus to then kill Megatron.
Yeah.
Again, which I thought was a little lame.
That was another weird out of character moment as well for me. Here we go. I got another time bubble here, but whatever.
Shockwave was really cool, right?
Love him, man. Like, Shockwave was sick in that movie, and then he had the worm.
Yeah, that was dope.
And Soundwave too was actually finally a character in this movie. He was in The Last Night. No, sorry, he was in Revenge of the Fallen as the Satellite, and then he gets the cool car mode as the Mercedes Benz in this movie with the bird.
Yeah.
I like that. That was cool.
No, the Mercedes was dope. No, I don't have a lot of bad things to say about this. It was your immediate. I love how instantly it sucks you in, even though the plot is outrageous. the only thing keeping it higher is the plot. The plot's and just the whole premise of there being a dark side of the moon is outrageous, and then it just it doesn't really fit in with the original two. I'm like, okay, so we knew they were on the moon this whole time, so it
Yeah.
just feels like he could have been a little bit more creative in terms of creating a story, but in terms of the rest of it, like the steak and potatoes of it, he more than delivers. So it safely is neatly tucked at third for me.
It
If it was a better story, I could easily make an argument for it to be two or even one. And I've seen lists of people having it at one.
yeah.
I don't think it belongs higher than three. You can make a case for it being two, but I have a reason for why I have the second one higher on the list. But
I
any notes on?
yeah, I love this movie. Yeah, I think originally it was above Rise of the Beasts for me, so it was number 3. But I just it, I get tongue tied, man. Without Michaela there, I feel like it takes away, and then
I
just
agree.
the weird character choices for Optimus in that movie, where he is just a little vengeful, but I get it
Yeah.
with the circumstances.
Yeah,
And
but he's like
also,
he's giving him the silent treatment.
yeah, but
But
like in Africa, or that one scene where you see, this is probably Megatron's second best look, where he's like the destroyed truck with the cool cloak. It makes no sense, but you're like, yeah, man, that looks pretty badass. And your head's all like messed up. And then you
makes
got like Soundwave just sitting underneath the tree, like talking to not Rumble or whatever, Ravage, I don't know, but one of his other bots. And I was like, dude, that's sick as hell imagery right there. Really like that scene. But
I
yeah,
like Starscream. You know,
yeah, Starscream's good too. He has that weird slobber problem in in this movie though, where like spitting all over everybody. But
no, yeah. And I like you said with like the Decepticons feel like the most of like a force
yeah,
in this. I agree. Yeah, for sure.
all
What's
right.
your two?
So on to
Or
number
should we start?
2 is Transformers 2007.
So you have Bumblebee at one.
Yeah.
So I have Bumblebee at two and the OG at one. So we're
Okay.
close.
It's really close. It's
I have
pain.
Bumblebee at one. Right
It's
on.
painfully close, but
I'm not mad
Bumblebee
about it. Go ahead.
Bumblebee won me over. But with Transformers, man, as you said when we started this, Transformers, it hit me at probably the most important time. Now, I was trying to reflect over where I was when all these movies came out, and
Oh,
2007 was a tough year for me. So personally, my grandfather was falling ill due to cancer, and this movie came out like 4th of July in 2007, something like that. And my birthday is July 15th. So at that time, we were always going to see movies, and I saw Transformers. And dude, this is like magic. This is a movie where you're like,
revolutionary.
it really though, like you're watching this movie, you're like, they did it. And it's like these characters from the toys, from the cartoons, you hear Peter Cullen's voice, and it's just like, Jesus Christ. It's cool. Lincoln Park's there. Like, god damn, they did it.
It feels like it will stand the test of time.
It will.
It
And
truly feels like it will 100% like better than like Terminator does, or like it feels like it will
it's wild.
age like fine wine. I really even the scenes where you're like, when like they're gonna try to cancel it inevitably at some point because there's Michael Bay in it, but like
Yeah. But
it feels uncancelable to me. It just feels so timeless. It's a grand slam. There's no soft spots in the game here for me.
nope.
It's just like you said, magic. That's the perfect word. You're shocked. I don't think anyone had expectations of it being nearly as badass as it was.
No.
I think people were like, oh, okay, how good is that? And then it just blew people's freaking brain holes. That's why, like, I can understand your argument for putting it two. I don't think it has to be people's number one. For me, I wrote there's no debate. I mean, obviously there's a debate or no
Yeah.
debate, but for me personally, this has to be one. And rewatching it, you're kind of like, because I have a little flavor fatigue with it because I've watched it so many
Yeah.
times. But I would give anything to watch this for the first time again.
Oh
It
my
is the
god.
one of all of them, like, what I would give to watch this for the very first time again. It has just and I think that might be its main thing. It's been around the longest. Obviously, we've watched it the most, so I feel like it has the most like yeah, been there, but like you take for granted just how fucking awesome this movie is. You just like it makes you want to enlist in the Marines tomorrow. You're like,
Yeah, yeah.
you're like, it's just the scene where like the dramatic like dun dun dun
With
dun just showing
Scorponok and
the
freaking going through, and you see Tyrese Gibson, and he's like running in slow motion, and Scorponok's like jumping. You're like, this is insane. It's like we're only 15 minutes into the damn movie, dude.
the
Like,
military scenes are incredible in that. We're gonna send the hogs, send the hog,
yeah.
you know, the Secretary of Defense part, and you know the interrogation. She did it. She's like,
I
it's
ate the whole
awesome.
plate.
I ate the whole play. Everything about it is great. There's nothing I can think rewatching it where you're like, what could they have done better? I just don't see it. It's just so much fun. It's not. I feel like it's not too long at all
No,
either.
it's
Like,
perfect. It is a very perfect. This movie to me, to cap off the whole story. So this movie came out. I watched it on my birthday. I usually go to see movies. My grandfather unfortunately passed away July 18th. So this movie was like, that was a great memory. Let's focus on this, right? And Transformers is freaking sick. So I was like, oh god damn, this is cool. I read the comic adaptation at the time. I got some toys. I got all this other stuff. The Blackout intro when he's going to the Air Force base or the military base. They're like, hey, what's that Black Hawk over there? And you just see him transform. You're like, oh shit, dude. And he messes shit up. And there's so many cool scenes, like the scene too, where they're like, oh right, we're gonna recruit all the Decepticons. And this is like the only time I think they did this in the Michael Bay movies where they had a silhouette driver. So they're like, oh yeah, Barricade in the movie had a digital person sitting in the driver's
oh
seat,
yeah,
and then like Starscream's flying around, and there's like a fighter jet pilot in there, and you're like, that's a cool
yeah.
idea. That makes sense for oh they can drive without doing the whole like, oh there's no driver in the car.
The
Uh,
highway scene too.
with Bone Crusher,
Bone
right?
Crusher
Yeah,
is amazing, and that's the thing. The special effects
they still
are
hold
some
up.
of the best
They still hold
of,
up.
of the seven. It's like I think Dark of the Moon maybe has a slight edge in special effects, just because there's a scene with Dark of the Moon where Sam's falling
Yeah.
and Optimus catches him, and you're like, that looked real, like
Mm-hmm.
that looks so real. But the special effects in one are ridiculous. For that time too. Like and that's what I'm saying. Like they've made so many movies since then, so many Marvel movies, so many DC superheroes, whatever. That movie has better special effects than so many movies that have come after it. Like it just set the bar so high
Mm-hmm.
for like this is how you make a summer blockbuster movie. And like I think we took it for granted because like a lot of directors have tried to match that level of aura and have not only come short, they've come up painfully short. Painfully short. Like it will 100% stand the test of time. I will watch that movie in the nursing home. Like
Yeah.
with it, like I don't it I just it's as the only thing I wrote. There's no debate. I just wrote in quotes. It's definitely Japanese, and then Barricade Rock.
All right. So we ended at my two, which was
Mm-hmm.
Transformers. Okay.
I think it'll work because our one and twos are flipped. So
It's perfect.
uh, obviously, I have the OG at one, and I already talked a bunch about it. So Bumblebee have it two, and as I said earlier, um, well, the first note I wrote, John Cena. Um, Boring battle scenes in comparison to Michael Bay, but it has all the heart. It's cute and well knit, adorable in the best way. Really offers an alternative flavor of tenderness to these characters, which is a welcome departure from Mikey B's cheap tricks and product placement and booty shots. It's hashtag adorbs. Love, love, love. Just very different from every other movie on this list in the best way. It's got so much heart to it. I love Haley Steinfeld in this. It just tugs on the strings, baby. It's just I love how like like I say boring battle scenes, but like it wasn't trying to be like the spectacle, you know? It
Yeah.
wasn't trying to do, and I it just offered like, look, you're like, okay, you can do that with these characters in this movie, but you can also do this. It's just a completely different take on it in the best way, in my opinion. I don't think it's perfect,
No,
but
no.
I was really surprised with how much I loved it. It was awesome, and it had the the same as like when I first went in to see Transformers and I was a child, but like the same thought of like, oh, this isn't going to be that good, and it more than exceeded my expectations.
Yeah,
So
well said. I think you know you hit all the beats. I This movie gave everybody what they wanted in the first like 5 minutes. So when you see that Cybertron shot and you're going into this movie, now this is the only Transformers movie, unfortunately, I was not able to see in theaters. So if I saw this movie in theaters and I saw that Cybertron scene, oh my god. They got all the designs from G1. They took it seriously. It's not goofy. And it's like all these designs and Megatron is nowhere to be seen or shown, but man, do you feel his presence at the loss of Cybertron. You see
yeah,
Starscream and Skywarp and Thundercracker, and then you see Shockwave and Soundwave, and you're like, oh god, these dudes are losing. And I just seeing everything, it was like unreal. Optimus does the pose where he's jumping out of the fire or whatever, and he's doing like the lunge jump, and you're like, oh my god.
yeah,
Uh,
no,
it,
the opening scene is probably the best in terms of
yeah,
action. The climax one where I forget where they are. They're in like a
they're in like a
not a junkyard. It's like by like water, right? Like
yeah, it's like a dam reservation
yeah,
or something like that. Yeah,
which fine. There's nothing wrong with it. I'm not saying it was the battle scenes weren't bad, just in comparison to. But it
it's a
wasn't
slower
trying.
movie.
Yeah, but like it wasn't trying to do that. That's the point, you know. No forced love interest here, which
Thank
was a
God.
win.
Yeah.
Um, it feels um, believable, if that makes sense. It
Hmm.
feels believable. You know, it gives all these characters the most human sort of element to them, and that's sort of what I think I love the most about it. And it, just so woefully different. Like it so stands completely. Like it almost doesn't even. It feels weird putting
Yeah.
it on this. It has to be on this list, but it's just so starkly different from every other movie on this list. So I can understand you putting it at one. I have no beef with you putting it at one. It's just I wasn't gonna put anything ahead of the OG, but I was so wonderfully pleasantly surprised with how sweet and tender this movie is. It
Yeah.
just makes I
It,
like, oh, like it's so cute. It's so
it's
fucking
it's a really cute movie, and one of my bullet points is it's the Iron Giant meets Transformers.
yeah,
It
yeah. It
it
does rip off Iron Giant, sure, but like that's not a bad thing, you know. Like
in all the good ways.
yeah,
Like when and this movie, I hate when movies are set in a certain time and it doesn't act like it. You know, like this movie is like, hey B, maybe you like music. Here's the Smiths, and he's like, yo, f this cassette, put in something else.
yeah.
And throughout this movie, a wonderful soundtrack. They even showcase The Touch, which is from Transformers, the animated movie.
I,
Uh, and yeah, like I was sitting there and I was like, man, I was like, is this in the movie? I forgot. And when she's doing the cliff diving thing, and Bumblebee's like,
yeah,
you got the touch. I was like, oh shit, they did it. Uh,
yeah,
yeah, and that was like a cool little nod. But I think even the Decepticons who are named, what was it, Dropkick and Shatter, where they
yeah.
had
The villains are a little forgettable,
they're a
but
little forgettable, but
they're cool. The
yeah,
cars are sick.
it's so
The
cool.
cars are sick. Yeah,
And they like popped the humans, turning them into like bubbles. I was like,
yeah.
all right.
No, yeah. I don't. I mean, I don't think it's poor action. It's
Oh
just
no,
woefully
it's
and
so
scale
small
way
scale.
way down.
Yeah, it
But that's cool. You know.
it's a cool movie, and I think also what is a dig at Rise of the Beasts is we climbed so high up there with Bumblebee. Like it was a nice welcome addition to Transformers after seeing Slop for, you know, even if you didn't like Dark of the Moon, it's like you had Age of Extinction and The Last Night, and we're like, well, Transformers is the you know, the franchise for those like weird people, you know, because it was starting to get that moniker. And it's like, oh, only people who go that to go see machine noises and CGI or whatever people were saying. And then you get Bumblebee, and you're like, wow, like
Show the
they
potential.
remember,
Yeah,
yeah.
that you, if you, if they cared,
And
or tried.
it was sweet too. And you could even, of course, now with Rise of the Beasts we can't, but you could literally be like, hey, Bumblebee and Transformers. You watch both of those, you're like, it makes sense. There is some weird continuity with them coming to Earth, but if you kind of
The
forget about
timeline.
that,
There's a little, yeah, the
yeah,
voice thing. Right? Yeah.
if you kind of forget about that, you're like, hey, that kind of works out pretty well. You still turn into the Camaro, you know.
Yeah, it works as a standalone movie though. I don't, it could
It
hypothetically,
could, yeah, but
but
it's so good by itself.
yeah, it's and I think that's one of the strongest points to it. It doesn't rely on any of the other films, really. It doesn't need any other films. It just it works as itself, and it's hard. Like I said, with these are the only two where it's like it's really hard to find a weakness, like a
Yeah,
genuine, certified, like gaping plot hole or something that's like makes it utterly ridiculous. Like it tightly knit, no frill, nothing like you said, nothing goofy. These two are the only two where I'm like top to bottom they came correct all the way through. I think what's the director's name? Is it Travis Knight?
Travis Knight. Yeah,
Uh,
he understood the
amazing,
assignment.
amazing. So we're I think a good way to close this is like so we were pretty much in lockstep on one and two.
Mm-hmm.
We were close on Dark of the Moon,
Mm-hmm.
and we were in lockstep on Revenge of the Fallen. I figured we weren't gonna agree. Although you know what, feel like
We're not too
we
far off.
a little bit agreed on the last night, and I was like,
Yeah.
you like last night is last, and then you said like four things that were awesome about. I'm like, certainly sounds like it's not last, Brandon, but
Oh,
like it's
one scene doesn't save a entire.
yes, it does. Yes, it does. Yes, it does.
I am shocked that you said you would rather watch Age of Extinction over Rise of the Beasts. Oh my God, no.
It's just it's so bad, but it's hilarious. It's and
It
like
is.
it is. It's bad. Like I don't want to watch it again. Let me be very clear. I don't want to watch Age of Extinction again. I was sitting through Age of Extinction. I was like, oh, I got to do this, and I watched it over the course of 3 days. I like
Wow.
paused it, and then I got because I had to go to work because
Yeah.
my hour was crazy, and then I finally it was like Saturday night. My wife was passed out on the couch, and I was like, I gotta finish this fucking movie. Like I gotta do it. And I was like, oh, I was like, oh, only an hour left. Here we go. And I was
And
like,
it's a long hour. That last hour is rough.
um, but yeah, at least it's still it's stupid though. And I think that's what at least it's stupid. Beast is like for me. I hear
It's
everything you said.
safe.
I have no problem. It's boring and also not stupid.
Yeah.
So I'm like, all right. So like I take it seriously, but like I almost don't want to take it seriously because like I don't take Age of Extinction seriously. That's the only pull it has for me
Yeah.
because it's bad acting, but that's kind of funny, like So and I remember Megan, my wife, watching with me, and she just like watching. She was looking at Tess. It's like there's always got to be a damsel, like, and even
Yeah.
when Mike gives her moment, right? Like the damsel always has her moments. Like there's always got to be a damsel. I'm like, yeah. And Bumblebee does not have that. And you know what? I feel like the Transformers, the first one, doesn't have like Michaela is a stronger character
Yeah.
than Sam. Michaela is a badass in the first one, right? And then it's kind of all stripped away in the second one. So
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it's not a coincidence that the two best ones have some of the strongest female character presence. I don't know if either one of them passes the Bechdel test. I'm almost positive the first one doesn't. Bumblebee might, because the Bechdel test, two female characters have to interact and they have to talk about something other than man. So I feel like
Yeah.
Bumblebee, but I don't think it's coincidence that we both agree the two best movies had some of the strongest female
Oh,
characters in
yeah.
it. Like, because it makes a difference, and that's
Uh,
noticeably lacking on the rest of these.
like don't get it twisted too with with Megan Fox. A lot of people think too, it's like, well, she looks, pretty or whatever, and then people think she looks awesome, but
Fortune
like
hot.
she's only like, people are only viewing her as like a image, but like if you actually listen to what she's saying in the movie, she's
It's
like,
awesome.
my boyfriend's a joke. Like, I want somebody else to be with me that's not a freaking loser, like, my boyfriend. And also she likes cars, she's trying to get her dad out of prison, whatever, like all this shit. You're like, okay, I get it. And Sam's kind of just like, before he's page turning, he's just kind of doing uh no, she actually has good character qualities, but unfortunately that second movie messes up a lot for everybody.
It's a shame.
Yeah. uh what I did have a really good note, because your first movie is Transformers, that I
Mm-hmm.
feel like if we were to talk more about the first movie, there's one scene and one person that really stands out in that entire film, and it's Bernie Mac.
Yeah, it's so weird. Someone brought up Bernie Mac to me today at work.
Mm-hmm.
Like just a few hours ago, I was like, "Oh, I loved him in Transformers." I said that today. That's so weird
Yeah.
that you bring that up. Like, yeah, I
It
would.
is such a
There was so
fun
much more Bernie
scene.
Mac. Yeah, it's
And
one of the
and
best in the movie.
when Noah is sitting in Mirage for the first time in Rise of the Beasts, and he like thumbs the steering wheel
Yeah,
like horn, you're like, man, that's just like, even when I first got my first like vehicle, you're like, you're sitting there in your car and you're like, this is my car, and then you do that like gentle, like, all right, this is where the horn is. Like when Sam sits in Bumblebee,
yeah, and the
it's like
Autobot logo.
this whole experience. I feel like Michael Bay did something really special there, where it's like you're in the car with him and you're rediscovering Bumblebee as well. And like he wipes the dust off the horn and everything, and you're like, oh shit. And just how his energy is. He's like, you're gonna buy a car, you're gonna buy a really good car, you're not gonna go buy a shit car, you're gonna buy you're gonna buy a
Yeah.
car from Bernie, baby. Like,
And he's like, well, his dad hardballs him on price. He's like, get out. He's like, but you said the car picks a driver. Well, not if the car picks a driver with a cheap ass dad. You get the
I love
like
it.
Bumblebee fucks up the rest of the car, and then he
Yeah.
goes, yeah, it's great.
And then just
It's
cut
yeah.
to black next scene. What a good scene. I was
When
shocked he
he's
passed.
yeah,
And that is just an awesome scene, and I'm happy he was a part of Transformers with that scene, because it's very underrated. It's just such a
I
good.
wish there was more Bernie Mac. It's
Yeah.
hard to see where else he'd fit in the movie, but I agree, Bernie Mac would have been great. The lot you made me think of something else when he thinks his car is getting stolen and he's chasing it on bike. He's like, "I'm in pursuit. Send the whole squadron." I am in pursuit. Oh my god,
That
the
first
car is stuck. It's stuck.
that first movie, of course, when it was coming out too, it is so long, like when we really pull ourselves back and really think about how much time has passed since 2007. Like, you and I have changed as people. We probably changed 2 or 3 times since that, if not more. And man, it's like 2007, especially with that movie. In terms of movies at the time, that movie kind of pulls all the essence of those early aughts, like those films that were around at the time, where I don't want to call Transformers like an American Pie like movie, but like you get the essence of what they're trying to do here with like the high school feel, and Sam's life at school, and even when they bring in some crude humor in that first movie, it's like tasteful, I guess, for the time. It's not in
I
your
agree.
face. And
Yeah.
I love how that movie almost feels like a period piece, just because of what it is. Like, everybody's pulling out flip phones, and you're like, oh god, remember that
Yeah,
Verizon
for
phone?
sure.
Like, it,
For
it's
sure.
it's awesome,
For
and that's
sure.
such a special movie, as we already said.
But Bumblebee still won for you.
Yeah, I that intro did a lot. And
The
I
intro.
love I just love the idea of like it's a wholesome, no like raunchiness, like we're just gonna have a fun kids movie. We're gonna just talk about Transformers, paint them in a good light, especially like I said after Age of Extinction and The Last Night. It felt like a huge breath of fresh air.
Yeah. 100%. Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean Transformers. How did you watch these movies before we wrap up here? Did you have a certain
I don't
order?
even remember. I feel like I started with the last night. My favorite, and then I think I went the Dark of the Moon. I told you I didn't have time to get the Beast. I just like I knew it wasn't probably
Hmm.
gonna move. Then I think I went Revenge of the Fallen next, and then I think one after that. I can't. It gets hazy though, and then I
Okay.
think Age of Extinction. Like it was. If I started to get fatigued, I won't be. I won't.
Yeah, it was
Shit,
rough
like
towards the end there for me.
Dark Moon was awesome. Last name was awesome, and I was like, okay, okay. And you're just like, okay.
Yep.
You run out of gas, baby.
Like,
Like
please make it stop.
you run out of gas. Yeah, for real. But, so, yeah.
My watch list was Dark of the Moon, Bumblebee, Revenge of the Fallen, Rise of the Beasts,
Okay, you really
The
are.
Last Night, Age of Extinction, Transformers. It's the weirdest watch list.
That's like almost a machete order. Like just
Yeah, it
like went
was
last night to Age of Extinction.
it was something. Uh, but here I am. Here we are.
I feel like yeah, I don't know. Last night makes more sense if you watch Age of Extinction first, but I watched the last
Yeah,
night first.
I I've seen Age of Extinction more than twice, and I only saw The Last Night once. But I was like, you know what? I just want to get The Last Night out of the way. And then I was like, God, I really don't. I watched Age of Extinction and The Last Night the same day. That was a really brutal.
You watched Age of Extinction the
Yeah,
last night in the same
yeah,
day?
yeah.
Oh my
It was
God, you are a
painful.
warrior.
It was painful.
You are a warrior. God bless you, my child. That's crazy.
I'm not gonna do that again.
That's like a
Ever.
fantasy punishment. Like if you come last in your fantasy football league, you have to watch Age of Extinction the last night in the same day. Like that's hard. Like you
That
won. You should not surpass more than one of those in 24 hours. That's like
that's
you
why I
did
told
brain
you
damage. Yeah.
that that's why I told you I was like I'm not gonna watch the original Transformers, and you're like just do it, and I was like all right. So I cleansed all that shit with watching the good
You're glad you did,
original.
right?
Yeah, thankfully, because man, sitting on it, Age of Extinction is just freaking. It's a long movie. Like even watching it, I was like, God damn, dude. That and the first
I,
we talked about first 45, it's fine, but man, that last hour, I'm like, God damn, please.
I don't think I'll ever watch it again.
It's tough. It's a tough watch, but
I
I feel I
honestly never watch it again.
yeah, I don't blame you. Just watch it
I
on
say,
YouTube, like clips of like lockdown and shit. Like,
yeah, like that. I really have no desire to watch. It's the only one on the list. Like Beast, I'm like, all right. Like if it's on, I would like stop and watch it. But like Age of Extinction, like I have zero desire to ever watch this ever again.
I don't blame you. It's too long. I was shocked with the runtime when I looked it up again,
What
but
is it? Two and a
it's
half?
it's like 2:45.
It's 2:45.
Yeah, and the last night's like 2.5. Yeah,
Two forty five,
it's egregious. It's the longest Transformers film.
and it made the most money. I'm pretty sure it made like the most money.
Hmm.
We need to look that up, and like I know you have to adjust for inflation, all that, but like I'm pretty sure it
Hmm.
made the most money.
I wonder
It made a
why.
ridiculous amount of money. Like, and then we'll end it. Like, hold on, we need
Yeah,
to hold on.
it
Uh,
won. So, it made bank, and I don't know if it was because of that rumor that he was like also catering to, you know, the locale that it was based in, but I don't
Big
know.
Sean.
Yeah, I heard there was like pandering to that market there, but I don't know.
Made 245 million.
Yeah, it's
It's not top three though. Revenge of the Fallen made the most, which kind of makes sense.
because the sequel to the
It
first
followed
movie
up
is
the
insane.
banger. Yeah,
Yeah.
402 mil. And then Dark of the Moon was second, 352 mil. And then
Hmm.
Transformers is third, 319 mil. And then Age of Extinction is next, which is just egregious. Yeah. What says what is seven? It says the Transformers the movie. I don't know what that
That's
means. Oh, that's
that's '07, I think.
no. This is like animated or something.
Oh, that's 85 or 86, that the animated film.
Bumblebee is six, dude. Bumblebee only
Okay.
made 127 mil.
But it was profit though because of its budget.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't see Beast on here.
I don't know.
That's weird. Whatever.
All right.
Right.
So
That was fun.
how that was awesome. It was a
How do we
lot of
what?
fun. So how are we going to close this out?
That's our blind Transformers movie list ranking. Let us know which one did it better. We obviously know my list is better, but let us know which list you thought was better.
Yeah, that is it. So let us know what you prefer. Autobots or Decepticons? Let us know in the comments. As always, is Megatron the coolest in The Last Night? He is. You don't need to say anything else. And what version of Optimus is better than Dark of the Moon? Because he just looks perfect there. So with that, we're all set, right? All right. Have a good one, everybody. This was it. This was our conversation, our blind ranking of Transformers, the Michael Bay, the Travis Knight, and Rise of the Beasts all together. Blind ranking. That is it. Goodbye.